we pay attention to. A lot of times, especially in hip hop, the culture that's pushed forward to the mainstream, it's a lot of like materialistic stuff, you know what I mean? But that's a distraction to what is real in the world and how we exist with the whole of creation, not just humanity, but, everything around us, and the things that we can't see. We know that movement is medicine, but it's medicine more, not just for your physical, it's for your spiritual, it's for your mental, it's for the communal health and wellness, so it's a whole roundabout thing. We already control like the titles and the speed of what's going on as far as with the actual runners, but the representation of the creation of these events, I believe the Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K and Festival is what is going to break through and lead the way for Black and brown people to come into the industry and come into the field.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Aaron Potts, aka Super Hot Potts, one of your favorite two black runners, coming at you every single Tuesday. And yes, it sounds a little bit different. Y'all getting a solo experience with your boy Super Hot Potts. Joshua has some things he had to tend to, but trust me, y'all gonna want to stay tuned in. I've been excited about doing this episode for such a long time. Just to give y'all a quick update, y'all know we took that long break and we've been talking about how we're gonna rebrand the podcast and everything. And maybe sometimes you're gonna see some different hosts on this. Maybe you'll see Joshua solo, me solo sometimes, but I'm really excited with where we're going with the direction of the podcast. But let's get to it, bro. I'm so excited to introduce my guest today. Man, the way me and this guy just connected from the first phone call has always been real, bruh. Like, we haven't even met in person, but I feel like this is the homie. This is the big bro introducing the director of the Hip Hop Wellness 5K in San Diego, race director of the You're Not Alone Suicide Prevention Walk in San Diego. This guy is breaking down barriers, originally from Queens, New York, man. Represent. You know what I'm saying? This is a black tastemaker in the running community. If y'all don't know, y'all should know. My boy Dawud Hasan. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome
Peace.
to the Two Black Runners podcast, bro.
Thank you for having me, big bro. Appreciate you.
Man, bro, I appreciate you. And like, really, I want to go back to that, bro. Like, the way you discovered the Two Black Runners, me and Joshua, was like so organic, like,
Word.
and how we just kind of like linked up on the phone and talked and was on the same wavelength has been like that from the jump, for sure, bro. Like, what was that moment? Can you describe that moment for our viewers, like when you discovered Ted Metellus, me, and Joshua?
Yeah, just in my journey of really just trying to educate myself more in the running world. You know what I'm saying? I ended up watching a documentary about the New York City marathon, and in that marathon, it was talking about the first brother who actually was the first president of the New York City Run Club. I can't remember Ted Corbett. Yeah. So that kind of led me down this like rabbit hole of running, you know what I mean, in the run world. And I bumped into Ted Metellus, and I just thought that his story was just so dope and so on time about, what we're doing, like really just trying to kick down the doors of Black race directors in the industry. You know what I mean? And he's that guy, so me, if I like something, I'm gonna go after it. So I was trying to find his hit, trying to find his connect, and I ended up on Twitter. And I saw that you guys did an interview, one of his tweets. You guys did an interview with him. You were sitting down. So I reached out to him, but I saw what you guys were doing. I was like, wow, look at the culture shifting. Look at it coming. It's happening. And that just made me realize that we right on time with it. And so I just reached out to y'all, and, here we are.
And bro, I would say the same, like, I feel like I had a similar experience. Like that podcast you saw us with Ted Metellus, didn't really
Mhm.
know much about him or Ted Corbett at that time. You
Wow.
know, I was like, oh, this guy is the race director of the New York City Marathon. And then I
Wow.
heard all about Ted
Crazy.
Corbett being like really the OG that started it and was like, we should go through the boroughs. And like,
Right.
I feel like that's kind of, you know, the fact that now we're kind of linked at that is is insane. And it really tells you where the energy at is for running and running and like black culture and
Yeah.
health and everything right now.
Yes,
So
sir. It's
what you're
divine
doing
timing.
is like I want to give you your flowers too though. Like when I saw that and I was like, this guy got a hip hop wellness
Yeah.
5K and it's in San Diego. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta pull up. Like
Word.
I need to be here.
Word. Yes, sir. We appreciate you, bro. You know, just the fact that you guys are really tackling the media side of it, I think it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like we've discussed many times, just really wanting to rock with y'all the long way. You know what I mean? Not just like one hits or one offs. You know what I mean? Just really bringing the just the vision to life on merging the hip hop culture and running culture.
Most definitely, bro. And we feel the same way too. We're gonna find ways to make it work, and I
Yeah.
think it's just gonna be good for our community. But I just wanted to ask you before we get deep into it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing right now? We're gonna go into what it's like being a race director, but like you said, you also have the "You're Not Alone" suicide prevention walk. I believe that one's in November. You were saying right before we came on, you got a lot going on. What's it been like managing all of that? I also seen you've been running, bro, on Instagram. You've been getting your runs in.
I jog. I'm a big guy. I'm sitting at 6'3", 340. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big bro. So I walk fast and get a light jog. But I do that for my mental health, man. You know what I'm saying? And my self care. Outside of just my physical health. So at the Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K and Festival, and the organization of Hip Hop Health and Wellness, we understand that it's total wellness. It's not just about physical. So we get out and we encourage people to walk and move. We know that movement is medicine, but it's medicine not just for your physical, it's for your spiritual, it's for your mental, it's for the communal health and wellness, so it's a whole roundabout thing. But yeah, so I've been out there. I walked the route for the You Are Not Alone walk a lot. I like that route because it's along the beach, in Ocean Beach in San Diego, and Sunset Cliffs. So it's a beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean, So yeah, I've been walking it, but just to manage everything that's been going on as far as like organizing 2 runs back to back, the Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K is October 23rd in Southeast San Diego. And then the suicide prevention run for Ryan Bowers is in Ocean Beach on November 6th. So it's 2 weeks after the Hip Hop 5K. So how do I manage it, bro? I have a good team. You know what I'm saying? The Hip Hop 5K team is a team of leaders, at the organization of Hip Hop Health and Wellness, so I can kind of step back from a lot of the original duties that I did, kind of organizing it and formulating the foundation of it. So, I rely on them a lot to carry the bulk of all of the duties. So right now for the Hip Hop 5K, the most consistent thing that I do is act as liaison between the organization and the city for special events. So traffic control equipment, insurance, all of that jazz. Dealing with the route, everything like that. The Ryan Bowers, the You Are Not Alone run, that's more hands on because it's new. This is our inaugural year.
Mhm.
And it's a beautiful thing because a lot of race directors have tried to get this route because it's down the middle of Ocean Beach. This is the main artery of that community, and they haven't been able to get it. So for whatever reason, I guess it's divine timing. We was able to get the permit, so we're blessed in that aspect. So I've just been managing myself, man, and delegating and making sure I get my self care in. I sleep a
Yeah.
lot. I'm not gonna lie. I take a lot of naps.
I mean, you got to, and it's beautiful to hear though, too, that how highly you speak of your team. You know, a lot of people might try and do these things in their community and like start off doing it, just themselves, but it's really like, it's that team that really makes it possible because there's a lot.
That's
I never put on a race, but from what you just named, all of the stuff with the insurance, I know there's so
that's
much
a,
that
that's
really go into it, bro.
yeah. That's just that. And that's not even the half. That's a little piece of it. But yeah, man. you can't do it alone, bro. Can't do it alone. You get further with a team. And I've been blessed to have a team of strong leaders. So it's a blessing.
So I want to get more into that. I want to get more into the Hip Hop Wellness 5K, your journey to being a race director. But I want to know about Dawud as well. Like, first off, I wanted to know. I was curious about your name. Like, does your
Mm.
name? What does that mean? Is there a meaning to Dawud? Is that I believe that's like African Arabic or something there.
Yeah, it's Arabic. It's Arabic, and it means so. My name is Dawud Hasan.
Awesome.
Dawud,
Okay.
yeah, Hasan. My father named me. He named me after one of his close friends in the military. So Dawud means beloved, and Hasan means beautiful.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's deep. That's deep right there.
Word.
And what? So your father, what was your father like? Was he from out there or something like that, or is he the one that put you? Because that's what I wanted to ask you too. Like you're really on. I mean, and this is like that New York, too. Like always on
Yeah.
that knowledge of self and type
Mm.
tip and everything. Is that something that you grew up with in your home?
I didn't grow up with my father. I grew up with my
Mm,
grand aunt. My father and my mother divorced when I was like 4 years old, maybe 3 years old. And I'm born in Hawaii. My father was in the
wow.
military, you know,
Okay.
and, so they got a divorce. And, unfortunately, my mother was going through some mental health stuff at the time, so she sent me and my brothers and sisters away, and so my brothers and sisters have different fathers than I do. So they got sent to their dads. I got sent to my grand aunt in Queens. That's how I ended up growing up
Mm.
in Hollis.
And what was it like in Queens at that time when you were growing up? Like, did you play sports out there, anything, or like what were you doing really growing up?
I was really on the knowledge, bro, like you talking about. I was building, with the 5%ers and reading books
Hmm.
with my bros, you know what I'm saying? And Wu-Tang was a big part of our lives back then, you know what I mean? Just getting the understanding of brotherhood and unity, and knowledge of self. People call it being woke nowadays, but back
Yeah.
then we called it having knowledge of self, so just having a deeper spiritual connection to the world. We played a lot of chess, we rapped a lot, that kind of stuff. I was out of the way. I really wasn't running the streets and nothing like that. My auntie, she was very protective of me. You know what I mean? And so, I had a good childhood with her. She kind of spoiled me because she wasn't able to have children. So when she got me, she kind of gave me everything I wanted. So, you know.
Man, it's those strong black women just like, you know what I'm saying? They don't play, bruh. Like
Man,
you,
yeah,
you
a
gotta be
lot of
on
a
it.
lot of a lot of the culture from the South, you know.
But yeah, that's my grandma from Mississippi, grandpa
Yeah.
from Louisiana. But also too, like I feel um like I think about like Harlem. Like when I got to go to the New York City Marathon last year, I got to go to Harlem, and you could
Mm.
still feel like that
Mm.
that energy just like in the air. And I never
Yeah.
experienced that, which was crazy. So that's cool, like how you were kind of raised by those 5%ers
Yeah.
as well. Like they gave you that knowledge. Like how old were you when you first started like realizing the importance of just like having that kind of like self pride, or like when did you first learn about like a Malcolm X walking the streets of New York and stuff?
Well, my mother was like that. She was very militant,
Hmm.
and then my father as well. My father is like a religious leader. Muslim. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so, a very well respected Muslim leader. So I think it's just in my blood. It's in my DNA to kind of just be that. So when I became, well, all right. So long story short, when my mother sent me to New York when I was about 4, and then I didn't see her again until I was around 9 or 10. But when I did bump back into her, she was telling me and my sisters a lot about like people talk about now, like the Illuminati and like revelations and you know God and spirituality and all of that. Not drinking the fountain water because it got fluoride in it.
Yeah.
This is when I was like 9 and 10. So I took that knowledge with me, And the first time that it kind of got sparked was, you know, I have a really good friend. He's my best friend back in the day. You know, it's my brother. You know what I'm saying? His name is Nolan. You know what I'm saying? And we used to sit and read the Bible all the time. He's the one that kind of brought it around to me. You know, so we used to kind of build on the Book of Revelations a lot. You know, about being in those times. You know, and that's, you know, that's about it, man. Around 10, 11, 12. You know, and then being on Jamaica Ave in Queens, you know, I would always see the Hebrew Israelites and the 5%ers out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was all around. You know, it was all around. So it was just life. You know, I jumped off the porch and went right into it.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people listening, they're gonna be like, "Dang, at like 11, 12 years old, like you were
Yeah, no,
thinking
that's a
like
fact.
that, moving
Yeah,
and moving like that. Like, did that stick with you as you moved into like your teens, into like your early 20s? Do you ever feel like you stepped away
100%.
from it?"
Nah, 100%. I've always been that way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that life is more than what we pay attention to. You know, a lot of times, you know, especially in hip hop, you know, the culture that's pushed forward to the mainstream, you know, it's a lot of like materialistic stuff. You know what I mean? But that's a distraction to what is real in the world and how we exist with the whole of creation, not just humanity, but, you know, everything around us, you know, and the things that we can't see, the things that we might just perceive. You know what I mean? So it's who I am, G. Like I said, my mother, my father's like that. So I don't know any other way. You
So
know, I
also
couldn't even
be
imagine.
also being Queens, New York, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all had Nas out there, like
Word.
the bridge, and
Word, word,
everything.
word.
I feel like that was your era. What was it like just being up close and personal to the golden age of hip hop, but also like
Yeah.
the birth of hip
Oh
hop?
man. You know, it's a blessing. I kind of reflect on that, bro, a lot because, you know, coming up in Hollis, we used to see running them all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I would be in the house and watch TV, and I would come outside and I would see Run DMC go down the street in the limousine and be at Hollis Park, you know, doing Hollis Day or something
Crazy.
like that. You know what I mean? So as a kid, you know, hip hop was just so ingrained in me. It was just a part of the culture, you know, a part of my upbringing, understanding of what life was, you know. Yeah.
Bro, yeah, when I went to New York, that was one thing too that like really hit me. Or even like I don't know, Hulu they have the Wu-Tang the show, and they break
Yeah.
down like how it came together. And it's
Yeah.
man, people
It's
just really
amazing.
just chilling outside,
Yeah.
projects, just rapping on the corners, and then just being there in real life. I was like, man, like
Word.
that's
Word.
crazy. Like this is really, really
The
where,
Mecca, you know,
yeah.
it's the Mecca you know, it's just a beautiful thing kind of seeing how, you know, we as a people and black and brown people kind of take something and make something out of absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at where hip hop came from, you know, the Bronx, you know, was burning down. You know, people were burning up the buildings to get their insurance claims. You know what I mean? And at the same time, disco was going on and house parties were happening. You know what I'm saying? So what the brothers did is they ended up getting like speakers and this piece of equipment and that piece of equipment and just kind of putting two and two together and doing like jams in the park. And then, you know, look at the birth of hip hop after that. And now 50 years later, next year is hip hop's 50-year anniversary. Hip hop is everywhere. It's $1 billion a year business. Everybody uses hip hop to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that came from people in poverty, black and brown people in poverty, just using their spirits and their imaginations.
Yeah, and really like the first thing hip hop was really used for was to spread that knowledge of self. Like you think of Grandmaster
Word,
Flash, like broken glass everywhere, people pissing on
word.
the floor like they just don't
Just
care.
don't care. You already
Yeah,
know.
like he really like just if you really listen to the song, like he giving game onto like the realities and like don't push me because I'm close to the edge. Like that's mental health,
That's
right?
mental health, bro.
Like from the get go. So did you that is that what you were like peeped on? Like were those the what were the artists like you were super into at that time? I'm guessing like KRS-One and
Yeah, you know, all the early 80s guys, you know, Chris
yeah.
was big. You know, I was a big Cool J fan, you know, being from Queens, you know, Rakim, all the early 80s, man. All the early 80s stuff. You know, I grew up on Video Music Box. I don't know. I don't think you guys have Video Music Box out here on the West Coast. But shout out to DJ Ralph McDaniels, the uncle of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that kind of like spearheaded, especially East Coast and South hip hop in the early times. That was the very first like video music show based on hip hop. Video music box. DJ Ralph McDaniels.
So I'm thinking too, like throughout this time, like, so were you ever into like athletics at all? Or did you like, were you someone that was like, you would bring people together for like
I was
parties or anything
quiet.
like
I,
that?
I didn't play sports, bro. I read a lot. I build a lot. As far as like my thing was just really getting like knowledge of self. Having those ciphers and those talks. We played chess a lot. But again, I was really duck to myself. I'm a lot like I am now, a lot to myself. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really play sports. Really, really careful on who I pick to be friends, you know what I'm saying? So I really have a whole bunch of friends, handful of my brothers that's still my brothers to this day, so but I was ducked off to the side, kind of doing my thing.
So when did your like health journeys start then? Because you have all of this really like this knowledge of self and trying to have that. I'm sure you had that growth mindset, trying to be that best person and help your people and everything. When did you realize, man, I gotta like? Was there a moment where you were like, I gotta step up on my like health journey or something that inspired you to do that?
Bro, I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying? That's a constant struggle with me. Again, I'm a big bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm 6'3", 340, you know what I mean? So, and I've always been big. So, I've always had a kind of constant struggle with my weight, with my diet, you know what I mean? So it's still a struggle.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's okay. Like the fact that you're like providing a space, you know, for people to address that and show them like, hey, like here are these like outlets where you can do something and it's like fun and you're combining it with something that you love with hip hop. And I'm like thinking like when did you move to San Diego? And
Mm.
when did that idea be like, man, like I want to get something together for the community, but also like really like you're targeting like your community specifically uh,
Yeah.
with the hip hop wellness 5K.
Yes, sir. I moved to Dago in '97. I was 17 at the time. You
Oh,
know,
young.
yeah, but I got married really early. I got married when I was 19. I got married 2 years after I got here, and so just kind of going to work, da 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 da. I've always been an MC. Coming up in Queens,
Mm.
just rhyming. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I started to kind of hit the local studios and do shows and stuff like that. And I did that for a few years or whatever. Made a few projects. And then 2000, I think it's 2012, I had my first hip hop health and wellness event. Where I kind of just brought in friends that I was, partners in, my partners in rhyme. You know what I mean? We brought them together, brought the health and wellness aspect together, and just had a show and called it Hip Hop Health and Wellness. And that was
What?
2012,
And there was a 5K a
2013,
part of that too.
2013.
Was it?
No, the 5K came after the first Hip Hop Health and Wellness celebration.
Mm.
Right. So basically, so the Hip Hop 5K as it is today is a festival and a run. You know, before we was just having the health and wellness festival, and then I was speaking to my daughter after one of the festivals, and I was just kind of thinking out loud, wondering what I should do next, what event I should do next, because I was just going to do another annual event, health and wellness event, the festival, and she was like, "You should do a 5K," you know, and I was like, "Word, I should do a 5K," you know what I mean? And the light bulb went off, bro, and I kind of just been straight ahead since then. That's all I see, like a horse and like blinders.
What did
You
you
know,
know? What did you know about running, putting together a
nothing,
race at that point?
absolutely nothing. I didn't know
She,
what a 5K was at that point. What,
man. So
you
then,
know? But
go ahead.
I did my due diligence. I feel like I can build a spaceship if I wanted to. I find somebody, you know what I'm saying, to teach me the game. So that's just one of the rules of the way I do business. You know, I really try to find people that are experts in the field and learn, you know, word. And
Did
so
you
that's what I did
did
here.
you even think that like black people, like people from your community did like 5Ks and ran like that?
No, I didn't know if I knew we didn't, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It really wasn't popular at the time. Now you'll see a lot of more black people getting into more health and wellness. Around that same time where I started, that's when the culture started to shift towards health and wellness. So in hip hop, there's 10 major elements in hip hop. You know, most people know the basic four elements: DJing, MCing, graph, and the DJ, MC, and graph and breakdancing. You know what I mean? But there's six more elements, you know what I mean? And the 10th element created by Keith Tucker out of Seattle is health and wellness. You know, I think he created it in like 2015 or 2014, something like that, maybe 2013. So around that same time, hip hop kind of started to go into this green age of hip hop, as what he says, you know, so that's where we at.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense. I mean, you see like Larry June, he's all about health.
Word, shout
Styles
out Larry
P
Jones.
with the juice
Word,
the
shout
juice
out to him.
bars and
Word,
everything.
word.
But what were some of those for people that, you know, aspire to do something like this in their community? Like what were like some of the biggest like roadblocks or like learning curves that you had to take on when it came to putting together a race?
Not so much just the race logistics, just more so just managing people, managing personalities, managing temperaments. Not so much of the logistics. Like logistics are only they're always just going to be logistics. It's
Yeah.
going to be kind of black and white. You know, once you get it on paper, you can see how to execute and to make it happen. But like the wild cards are people's personalities. You know, so in the earliest times, you know, when I first started, I was so kind of gun ho to make this vision happen because it was sitting so heavy on my chest, you know what I mean, and my spirit. I just had to get it out. So, you know, I didn't really understand the etiquette of dealing with other people in creating vision. You know, so I had to learn that. That was one of my biggest learning curves, you know, for the first few years. But
What
logistics, that's nothing.
what do you mean by like, cause I'm a person like I feel like I have strong vision. Like I have
Yeah,
very strong vision. I could be very
yeah,
passionate at times.
yeah.
Like, what do you mean like etiquette? Like, I don't know if
Just
example right.
small stuff. You know what I mean. So, and this might seem petty, but I for the first few years, I got this a lot. Just like with logos, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If a person like helped you or they feel like they are a part of this, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They
yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
representation. You know what I mean? And again, representation on the mic. You know, hey, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
hear my name said, or I didn't hear any representation from, which I understand. You know, but at that time, it was so difficult to do all the logistics and manage my life at the same time. Event days, I tended to kind of just forget about what else was around me. It was like,
Yeah,
okay, it's done. We doing it. Boom, 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 boom. I'm done. And then after, then disappear. I'm gonna deal with my life now. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
not knowing that the process of event organizing is from the inception all the way up until like the final thank yous and the final handshakes and the final bills. And, you know, just after event day, there's still a whole lot of stuff to do, you know. And you know, this is something I had to learn early.
For sure. I mean, yeah, that makes sense too. Like those small things really is what
They matter a lot.
makes your
Yeah.
team feel loved and feel like they're contributing and like everyone is, you know, a part of something
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
Um one thing too, like I was at this like I was gonna ask you, like, do you know any? You know Ted Mattel? I mean, you've heard Ted Mattel's, but I don't really know many black race directors. Like, I was trying to put together. You know, I told you about the race I was trying to do
Yeah.
last year, and I've had struggles like getting the permits and stuff. And I went, actually last year too, I went to this running industry conference to like to they wanted to interview me and my brother. And one question that I was asked by like a random person, he just saw me because there was only like four black people there, and he's asking me like, bro, like he just comes up to me randomly and is like, how why do black people not want to go to my race? And like
Trip.
this is like a white dude, and I'm just like, bro, I don't know. Like you got
Right.
black people
Yeah.
on your staff, whatever.
Yeah.
And like if I could go back in time, because I even talked about that on stage, and I kind of like blasted dude, but I was just like, if I go back in time, I could be like, man, like this is cool. You guys brought us here to speak. You know, you brought Alson this here to speak, but really, y'all shouldn't be bringing me. Y'all should be bringing Dawu. Like y'all should be,
Mm.
if y'all really want more black people to come to your races, like why isn't there more black or why you want more black people to go to these races? Like you want to help black people, then put these people that because the more I dig, the more I discover. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, like we're out here, you know,
Right.
we're out here for sure. And I just feel like it's important for us to like I would love for Two Bike Runners to become like a platform where we could come and share and give some blueprint, you know, like as you're doing for us today. But yeah, that just bothered me. In hindsight, it bothered me that they brought us there to speak on it. You know, asking me questions about being a race director. And I'm not a race director when they could have seeked out
Fred
seeked out some
McCullough.
black race
You know what I
directors
mean?
and got them out
Right.
there for free so they can, you know, uplift their communities because
You know,
like
I'm listening.
like they're not gonna just go like black people like we wanna like if you want to attract black people have somebody black you know create the race because we know each other we know what we
No
like
doubt.
we're gonna feel more comfort and welcoming and that's why I'm excited you know I never been the only race I've been to directed by a black person I mean I might be mistaken if there's something I'm thinking but a road race directed by a black person I've been to I went to the New York City Marathon you know
Word.
last year and that was a huge
Word.
race that was fire but I'm
Word.
excited to see what it's like going to your race in
Yeah.
this 5K because I feel like it's gonna be a whole different vibe.
You know, a lot of people say that. A lot of people come to our runs and they say that it's kind of like a home. It's a home feel. They feel home. It's not just okay we running, but it's a energy to it. You know, I'd say that we create platforms of peace and health and wellness and community. You know, just sparking the vibration, man. But back to what you were saying, as far as like being invited by, I guess, man, the gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying of the run world as it is, you know, I'm on my Dame Dash with that. You know what I mean? That's cool. You know, we love to come and speak and all of that, but let's create our own. You know what I mean? Let's create our own and create our own doors to go through. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if, again, I'm just learning about running. You know what I mean? And the whole run world and what it's about. But it's common knowledge that Black people dominate running around the world globally. You know what I mean? So we already control like the titles and the speed of what's going on as far as with the actual runners, but the representation of the creation of these events, I believe the Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K and Festival is what is going to break through and and lead the way for Black and Brown people to come into the industry and come into the field. God willing.
Most definitely. And like one thing for me when it comes to that, like I've worked in running my entire like I ran track growing up, worked at running stores, and now I work for a brand as well. And like as I said earlier, like yeah, there's not like a lot. There's not enough of us like in this space. But I was telling my brother the other day, it's like man, like you know, like the job I have here at Hoka, it's a good job. Like you know, like I see people buying, you know, getting married and getting like houses together and like having kids and I'm like which is an indication that this is a career and it's
Yeah.
like you know I'm one of a very few a few that got the privilege to be at this point and I just gonna be like bro like y'all could come y'all don't have to you know what I mean it's a vehicle to something and it's like bruh there's room here and I feel like even like the same too with like what you're doing like I think we have the athletes that dominate and everything but we need these people on the back end that are like you directing races or in the media or like Allison Desir being like an author and ambassador for all these brands, because we have a lot of knowledge about running. We know a lot about running, and then to circle it back to the health, we do have a health crisis, like
Yes.
in our community. So like with Ted, we were talking about demystifying, distance running. Like, cause
Mm,
a lot of people might be like, "No, I'm just a sprinter." Like,
mm,
that's weird or whatever it is. But there's benefits for like, there's even financial benefits. We talk about
mm,
health and wellness. There's even like some financial
mm.
benefits, like if you're in um this running world. And I don't know, I would suggest, we just did a podcast with Allison Desir, Running While Black. Anyone listening should read that. But she talks about Ted Corbett, and it's just like,
Mm,
this dude like started, New York Road Runners and like
mm.
New York Marathon, but he doesn't get that credit. But if
I
he
never
was
heard
like,
of him.
if he
Yeah,
was Bill Bowerman, like who, was starting Nike, it's like, dang, look at where
word.
that took them. So,
We got to stop looking for people to validate us.
mm-hmm.
We got to validate ourselves. We got to create our own. And the platform is just so much there. And I listen to you speak, and I'm just so excited because it's just wide open, brother. It's wide open for people of color to come in and be creative. Period.
Yes. No,
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it.
nah, I totally agree, man. I feel like there's a lot, especially like you said, the energy that's in the running community right now. Like, it's sad that, I think it happened organically, but it's also like, the result of like Ahmed Arbery's death,
Mm,
that
mm.
that made people had to like recognize, and then you start seeing these people pop up even more and more and more. But I think we are going to start seeing people just like feeling like that confidence to create their own, especially the more they can just see, that like, that representation is just key. Seeing someone do it, you're
That's
like,
it.
oh wait, I can do that too.
That's it. You know, I hear Ted a lot, and one of the reasons I really tried to reach out to him, Ted Metellus, is because in a lot of his interviews, he talks about being the first Black race director of a major run like the New York City Marathon, but he doesn't want to be the last. He keeps saying that. He keeps saying that, and I get so excited when I hear him say, "I'm like, Ted, I'm right here. I'm right here. Holla!" I'm trying to get at you. But it's, man, again, the field is so open for inspiration and imagination. And I would love to be one of the catalysts to bring the rest of the gang on in. You know what I mean? Our people in. To in this field and in this industry. Because I believe it's a medicine for us. And what we need is to start moving around. Black people, brown people, we don't have to die of diabetes. So, you know what I
Yep.
mean? You don't have to die of high blood pressure, bro. You don't have to get gout in your leg, excuse my language. You know what I mean? And lose your leg or something like that. And so those are such curable diseases and illnesses. You know what I mean? You just walk 30 minutes a day and don't eat too much fast food. You know what I mean? Eat some fruits and veggies. Change your diet. Have a more healthier lifestyle. And you don't even got to go crazy. You don't got to be a vegan and stop eating sugar, and you can still live your life. Just make better health choices on a daily basis. That's all. And walk. So I envision a time where in Black and brown communities where we see each other outside walking daily. Like if you go to a white people's community or whoever, you see them walking and jogging in their community from the time the sun come up to the time to go down, and sometimes after. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know what I mean?
Facts.
So we need to have run groups in our communities, man, on everywhere, every major city. You know what I'm saying? And we should just be doing it like that, and it should be part of our culture. And I believe that's what we're bringing forth. I believe that's what we're going to bring to the table. So the hip hop health and wellness is poised to fuse the culture of hip hop and running, and to bolster the whole 10th element of hip hop, which is health and wellness. And
Definitely, man. I definitely think the timing is 100% on point. That's another thing I should start discovering. Like last year, I went to New York.
I
Is
mean,
run crews in LA and in New York. They're like, I
word.
just seeing more and more like Black run crews, and it's just like we need these places. We need the races that are built for us. We
Word.
need those races that are built for us, that will also like help those clubs to get those members, because ultimately, like you said, ultimately we just want people to be more healthy. That's, you want to have
That's it.
community, and you want people to come together, be more healthy, like physically and mentally. That's really what you want to do at the end of the day. That's the purpose.
In a nutshell. Yeah.
But who are some of the, or actually no, I want to ask you, like, from doing the race, I think you're on your 7th year now.
Yeah.
Who have there been
Six.
people in the races that inspired you, or like how inspired have you been from just like creating the race every year?
Again, I'm brand new to the run game. I'll be honest, very
Mm-hmm.
brand new, and I'm even more brand new to track and field. Actually, meeting you really opened my eyes up to the whole concept of bringing track and field, because when I was starting this, it's just road running. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we want to do fun runs, you know. But I forgot all about track and field, you know. So the Flo Joes and the Jackie Joyner Kerseys and, you know, all of the newer people, you know, that's coming along, you know. So I don't know a whole lot of names, not gonna lie, you know what I mean? But I think it's a beautiful thing. So for me, as a visionary, as an organizer, and as somebody that's not on that level to compete in track, I see, and I'm wanting to show the people who were introducing running to, that there's different levels. You can just be a walker. You can just do a casual walk 30, 40 minutes a day to get your health and wellness right. You can jog, you can be a sprinter, or you can go deep into the far end and actually compete and do hurdles and do fucking javelin throwing and, you know what I'm saying, long distance running. And, you know, there's
Yeah.
such a huge world to the culture of running, you know? So
Yeah.
I just happen to be on the other side with the walkers.
Dawud, it's been a pleasure having
Man.
you, man. And I think this conversation will inspire some people, you know, that want to start something in their community. And hopes to, like, this is going to come out in October. So, yo, if you in the California area, you know, come through to Hip Hop Wellness 5K down in San Diego. I think you're going to have a good time for sure, man.
Yes, all welcome, all welcome. October 23rd, San Diego Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K Festival.
But I like a couple closeout questions I wanted to ask you. One being, you know, since this is like the Hip Hop Wellness, you know, 5K, like, who are you listening to right now? Like, who are there any new artists coming up? Or you just kind of stick to what you were listening to growing up? Or what's in your, if I was to get your like iPhone or whatever, what would be like the top artists you got right now?
I'm listening to a lot of Kendrick right now, a lot of his new joint.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
listening to a lot of the new album. You know
Oh
what
my
I'm
gosh.
I
went to his concert, bro. I went to his concert for my birthday. Stuff was life changing, bro. Life changing.
Word. It's the energy, bro. It's the vibes.
Yeah, man. That was so good.
He's on my bucket list to work with, man. I want to book Kendrick one day, man. For real.
That'd be crazy. But who else you got? Who else you got?
There's this dude named Simba from the Bay Area. You know him?
Yeah, bro.
The boy is nice. I think he next. He
Uh-huh.
next on some lyrical fly. Yeah, Simba's nice. He's nasty. And there's another kid from the Bay Area, man. Please excuse me, I can't remember his name.
LaRussell,
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I want to book him, bro. I want to book him, bro.
That dude's different. That dude is different, bro.
I want to work with him. Yeah.
I like that. Bro. That's a good. That's a good three right now.
I got something in mind for him. I want to invite him to one of these events. I got something in mind.
For sure. I'm excited to hear about that. But besides new artists, I would like to hear, you know, people always ask this, like, who are your top 3, top 5 all time if you had to do it?
Man, you know, we've been doing the top 5 for so long, you know. To me, there's like people on a Mount Rushmore that you just kind of leave there, you know what I mean? Like the golden era guys, you know what I'm saying? Up to like the Nas's and the Ice Cubes and the, you know, them guys, you know. So like right now, my top 5, my new top 5, you know, because Jizza is one of my biggest favorite MCs, but I put him on the Mount Rushmore. So, you know, I won't put him in this top 5. But Royce the 5'9", you know what I'm saying? I think Nickel is just amazing. You know what I mean? Just the way the double entendres, triple entendres, and you know, one of his last albums, The Book of Ryan, I think was a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? It was also about trauma. It was about generational trauma. You know what I mean? You know, Black Thought, I think is a lyrical monster. You know what I mean? Sometimes Black, he thought he kind of go over people's heads, you know. I put Wayne in there, you know, even though, you know, some people might put him on that Mount Rushmore, but I slept on Wayne for a long time. But, I think Weezy is, you know, just an incredible MC, and just to have such a large body of work for such a long period of time and be so influential.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you know, Wayne, you know, I'm a big Capadonna fan as well, you know, so I put Kappa in there, and I'm going to take Jizza and put him back in that top 5.
I like that. I haven't heard a top 5 like that though. You can tell a lot about a person by what they listening to and they top 5. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
I like that you threw Wayne in there with that group though. You know, with like Black Thought and stuff. Because Wayne, he gets definitely. I mean, because he just had that era. Yeah, like he really is crazy. Like, and he has that era where he had like a gap where he was like just putting out songs that were kind of bad. You know, but then people kind of forgot, like, you know, like that's Wayne. Like, he's been doing it since he was like 17, 16, or like even 14, I think, even younger.
Yeah, like earlier than that. Yeah, he was a star since he was a kid, you know. But yeah, man, definitely a legend out here, man. So, you know, shout out to Lil Wayne.
Also, man. One thing too, I wanted to hear you expand more too is just like on like your team. Like you talk a lot about like your team, and throughout this talk we've been talking about community and everything, and just like, yeah, what does your team really mean to you? Or if you want to just shout some of them out real quick or something.
Nah, you know, I'll shout out the squad, man. You know what I'm saying? First, I'd like to give a mighty shout out and love to my big brother Terrell Rackley. You know what I mean? He's the co-founder of the San Diego Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K and Festival. You know, he's the out of everybody who's grouped together to make it happen now, he's been there for the longest, most consistent. Ever since we first met at the first Hip Hop Health and Wellness Festival and celebration, he saw the vision. We touched and agreed on similar visions that he had, you know what I'm saying? And so he's been my backbone for all of these years, you know what I'm saying? So salute to that brother, you know, Terrell Rackley, you know what I mean? You know, and also Big Reese Johnson. You know what I'm saying? So when we speak Big Reese, like that's the big bro. You know what I'm saying? For those that know, that's Big Bro. You know what I'm saying? So he comes with a lot as far as you know, influence and network. You know what I'm saying? So we salute him. You know what I mean? There's also brother Carlton Overstreet Jr. You know what I'm saying? Another, to me, CO is like, we call him CO. CO is like, he remind me of like a young Diddy. You know what I'm saying? He kind of everywhere, he's multitasking. He's a drummer as well. So, you know what I'm saying? Keeping things on beat is one of his specialties. You feel me? So, you know, salute to CO, you know what I mean? And the rest of the squad, man, you know, that's it. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be possible to be able to bring the vision to life. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about earlier, like you can't do things by yourself. You know, you have to have a team, you know what I'm saying? And for me to be blessed with such, you know, powerful people on the team, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, like most of the people on the Hip Hop Health and Wellness squad and organization are leaders, you know what I'm saying, in their respective fields. So, you know, I salute to that. And you know, let's just continue growing and let's continue making history and doing what we do for the people, man.
I love it. I love to see it. Word. I'm excited to come through that's gonna be my first. Y'all gonna hear it. This is my first race back. You know, I mean, like I don't know. I'm not trying to do nothing crazy or nothing, but you know, I've been running a little bit, so I'm excited to meet all the leaders and everything too.
No doubt.
I also wanted to ask you back to music, like if there was like a concert that you could go back in time to see anything. It doesn't even have to be hip hop. Or like some type of event that you could go back in time to witness.
An event,
I would say on entertainment, on the entertainment side, like concert or something, and then maybe we could go historical event. But yeah.
I mean, like I don't know. That's an interesting question. I never heard anybody ask that before. But I'll probably say I would like to have been present for two things. The last Arsenio Hall show, where he had all the rappers come together and perform, or the last Yo MTV Raps episode where everybody came together and performed. I'd have liked to have been there for that.
Honestly, I need to go. I ain't even seen those, to be honest.
Oh, word.
I'm about to
Yeah.
pull that up on YouTube right now.
Yeah, yes, sir. Those are pivotal moments in hip hop culture, you know. When, you know, Arsenio was everything to us, you know. He was, you know, not prime time, you know, it was late night, you know what I mean? But we never really had a hip hop representative, you know, in that kind of position, you know. So I don't know what you call it, like TV, like what do you call those? Like hosts?
Yeah,
like how
like late night television.
Yeah, like late night kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? But Arsenio, you know, he represented us, so.
Do you feel like, this is like kind of off topic, but do you feel like Charlemagne is like trying to fill that, kind of becoming like a new age type personality?
I'm not tapped in too much into it. I seen it. It's the podcast, right?
Because he has like that show now, Hell of a Week, but he has like all these other platforms and stuff. But he do have like a talk show now. It's on like Comedy Central.
No doubt. Damn.
And he brings on a lot of interesting guests, like Angela Rye. He had Angela Rye, Malcolm Gladwell, and just like a lot of interesting, different type of black people, or people with like influence like in our culture. It is interesting the people he brings on to talk on, like.
That's what's up. I got to tap more into it. I'm not really aware. I've seen it on Instagram a few times, but I never really plugged in.
Yeah, I just be seeing them on YouTube. But the last question I got for you: what mark do you want to leave on the sport of running?
I want to be the catalyst that creates that bridge between Black and brown people on the side of promotions and the business, and also event planning and execution. You know, on the fun world. On the hip hop side, we want to create the spirit, the activity of running and walking in our daily lives and put it into the culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I mean, I love it. Both of those would be very helpful for the culture. Both of those would bring everyone together, and you know, like I've said from the beginning, what y'all about is what Two Black Runners are about. So you ever want to come on, promote anything, any event y'all got, we here. Sir. Any way we can help, we here for it. So appreciate your time. Yeah, I guess I got one more. I was about to close out. We always ask this question too. Who do you think we should have? Do you have any suggestions of who we could bring on to this podcast?
Ted Metellus.
Ted Metellus,
you know, are off top, but that's on the run side. On the hip hop side, you know, we had this conversation, you know what I'm saying? You and I, you know what I mean? Not to throw too many names out there, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we want to link you up. You know, I see that Nipsey Hussle shirt, you know what I mean? You know, we want to, you know, it'll be a nice connection, you know what I'm saying? If you start getting more hip hop artists on your platform.
Most def. Well, y'all know, y'all gonna see some cool things coming soon. Coming soon. Sir. Thank you, Dawud, for coming on. One last time, let everybody know when is the race. We're gonna have the link so you can go register, but let everybody know when is the race for both the Hip Hop Wellness 5K and the Suicide Prevention Walk. Okay, no doubt. So the 6th annual San Diego Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K and Festival. You can join us October 23rd. That's in Southeast San Diego. For the Ryan Bowers You Are Not Alone Suicide Prevention Run Walk, you can join us on November 6th, and that's in Ocean Beach. Yeah, make sure y'all come out. I will see y'all out there, and I will see y'all next week on Tuesday. I believe Joshua will be back with me, but we gonna keep this thing rolling, y'all. Appreciate all the listens, all the support, everything y'all do for the podcast. It really goes a long way. But until next time, you're listening to the Two Black Runners, presented by The Running Report. Thank you and goodbye. Peace.